airline operators of Nigeria have raised alarm over losing 150 billion naira within 2 months, even as ground handling companies threaten further action over about 9 billion naira in outstanding debts. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, Iran has sent its latest proposal for negotiations with the United States to Pakistani mediators. According to sources familiar with the negotiation process, it isn't yet clear what is in the proposal or whether Trump will accept it. The two countries have been locked in a standoff for nearly 4 weeks since they reached a temporary ceasefire, with the US blockading Iran's port and the Strait of Hormuz remaining effectively closed by Tehran. Even as talks publicly appeared at a standstill, Trump said yesterday that no one knows their status apart from him, and a handful of others suggesting that they were still proceeding. At number 9, Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund will stop financing Govt at the end of the 2026 session, throwing the future of the breakaway tour into serious doubt. US media reported Wednesday, Govt, founded in 2022 as a main rival to the PGA Tour, plans to inform staff and players on Thursday that the Saudi Public Investment Fund will no longer bankroll the circuit beyond the summer. The Wall Street Journal said the league, which spends billions of Saudi dollars to lure many of the world's top players, including Bryson DeChambeau and Phil Mickelson, will evaluate strategic alternatives to continue operating, CNBC reported. At number 8, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities have declared an indefinite strike beginning from May 1st over stalled negotiations with the federal government, according to a letter dated April 30th from NASU, General Secretary and SSANU President Mohammed Ibrahim. The union said the industrial action will start at midnight. According to the unions, the move followed the federal government's inability to finish renegotiations and present a fresh offer on allowances. At number 7, the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has issued a stern warning to officers of the police force that the era of professional recklessness and impunity is over. The police boss made this statement in Uyo on Thursday at the passing out ceremony of 1,068 restrained constables at the mobile base, 26 PMF Uyo. Speaking at the ceremony, the IGP declared that the retraining exercise was not merely ceremonial but a fundamental proclamation of a new professional dawn for the force. He emphasized that an unskilled officer with a gun is in danger to the public, while a skilled and disciplined officer is a true guardian of the people. At number 6, 3 Nigerians, William Elvis, Moses Hezekiah, and Destiny Okenetega, have been charged in a United States federal court in Rhode Island over their alleged involvement in an online romance and wire fraud scheme. Punch Metro learned from a statement obtained to the Department of Justice website on Thursday that the suspects were each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The statement noted that court documents indicated that the alleged fraud scheme began around early 2021 and involved multiple conspirators targeting victims through online impersonation. It noted that the suspect and their accomplices posed as professionals working overseas and developed relationships with victims over time. At number 5, Dangote Cement PLC has reported a profit before tax of 421.1 billion naira for the first quarter of 2026. It recently filed financial statements on the Nigerian exchange said the growth reflected a 35% on-year increase from 311.9 billion naira in Q1 2025. Driven largely by strong top-line growth, revenue rose to 1.19 trillion naira from 994.6 billion naira. Cement and clinker sales accounted for 99.99% of total revenue, while other products contributed a marginal 0.1%, reflecting the company's core focus. Earnings per share rose to 19.14 naira from 12.29 naira, while on the balance sheet retained earnings increased to 1.8 trillion naira from 1.5 trillion naira, indicating sustained value creation. At number 4, the National Association of Nigerian Students has said the management of Obafemi Awolowo University may reduce the recently announced 3-week mid-semester break and has agreed to allow students currently in hostels to remain on campus. This followed a high-level engagement between NANS Southwest Zone D and the university management over welfare concerns triggered by the break and earlier evacuation fears. In a statement note issued on Friday by the NANS Southwest Coordinator Adeyemo Josiah. The student body said it intervened after many students were left stranded following the abrupt announcement of the break. At number 3, a former member of the House of Representatives and chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Benga Makanjola, has picked the party's nomination form to contest the Kwara South senatorial seat ahead of the 2027 general elections. Makanjola made his intention known during a visit to the APC State Secretariat in Ilorin on Friday, where he met with members of the State Working Committee led by the party chairman, Sunday Fagbemi, and formally submitted his letter of intent. The former federal lawmaker noted that his decision to rejoin the race was rooted in his commitment to service, recalling that his previous electoral successes were driven by performance and grassroots support rather than financial endowments. At number 2, the Kebbi State government has dissolved the governing council of Abdullahi Fodio University of Science and Technology, Aliero, and relieved the vice chancellor along with 2 deputy vice chancellors of their appointment. The affected deputy vice chancellors are those in charge of academics and administration. Their decision followed the State Executive Council's consideration of the recommendations of a visitation panel set up to review the affairs of the institution. According to a statement signed by the secretary to the state government, Alhaji Yakubu Bala Tafida, the council approved the dissolution of the university's governing council based on the panel's findings. At number 1, airline operators of Nigeria have raised alarm over losing 150 billion naira within 2 months, even as ground handling companies threaten further action over about 9 billion naira in outstanding debt. A member of the board of trustees and the airline of operators of Nigeria, Roland Iyayi, said airlines had lost over 150 billion naira in just 2 months, stressing that operators were nearing breaking points. Iyayi warned that the survival of ground handling companies depends largely on the existence of airlines, adding that the current standoff could have dire consequences. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.